All right. Give me just a second to get my stuff pulled up, and then we will be good to go. Oh, shoot. Your timer's going crazy.
Escape.
There we go. Okay, can everyone see my presentation? Can I get some thumbs up, either virtually? Okay, thanks guys. Well, hello everyone. My name is Sara Wynn, and I am the last workshop today. So I'm going to be talking to you guys about, or teaching you guys about personal accountability. So far you guys should have been able to learn about kind of team building and working with your teams. And so today I'm going to teach you kind of how to be personally accountable within those teams. So you guys can go back to your counties, and within your tri-teams, you guys can really make a difference. So real quick, what I want to do is in the chat, I want each county to just put, what do you guys think personal accountability means? What would you say personal accountability means to you? And if you're an individual or if you're in a county, just with your groups, come up with something and go ahead and stick that in the chat real quick. All right, I'm just going to start reading a couple of these. We've got to be accountable for yourself. We've got you are reliable, owning up to your actions, responsibility for how you contribute, taking responsibility for your actions. We've got that a couple times. Being responsible with your choices. Do what you'll say you'll do. Always trying your best. Following through on things that you say you're going to do. And then we've got the willingness to push yourself without others pushing you as well. Do what you need to do. And then we've got a few others that are just be dependable. It means being responsible for how you act. So those are some pretty great answers. A lot of you guys touched on a bunch of stuff that we're going to be going over in this workshop. So those are some great things, and we will keep those in mind as we go through this workshop. So for this workshop, that when we say personal accountability, we're going to be talking about doing your part to help your team reach their goals. So that is our definition of personal accountability for the sake of this workshop. So we're going to be going over 4 steps for being personally accountable. The first step is knowing your roles and responsibilities. The second one is don't over or under commit. The third is manage your time wisely. And then we have the fourth, which is be honest. So first up, we have know your roles and responsibilities. It is really important in your tri teams if you guys are going to be going back and teaching a curriculum or starting a club or really making a change within your county, that each individual knows where they fit into that process. So going into this, make sure that you guys know what your roles and responsibilities are. So make a list of your assignments and your responsibilities. Understand what your role in your team is and make sure you're taking action to fill that role. And if you don't know what your role is, make sure you talk to your team. If you have any leaders or people you're working with, make sure that you ask and you understand what your role is so you can contribute to your team. The second part of being personally accountable is one that I know a lot of 4-Hers struggle with, because I know a lot of 4-Hers who are just they love to push themselves and they love to be as involved as they can. So it's don't over or under commit. Part of personal accountability is making sure that you are taking the steps necessary to give to your team. So if you accept too much responsibility, either in your team or in your other pursuits, you're not going to be able to kind of contribute as much as you would be able to. So the first step to this is don't accept more responsibility than you can handle. But to go along with that, along with over-committing, we have under-committing. If you are part of a team and you are not taking responsibility, your actions are still not going to be able to kind of help your team, because that's what our idea of personal accountability is helping your team reach their goals. So you need to make sure that you are helping enough and taking on enough responsibility that you are still contributing to your team. And then lastly is just to emphasize that your team will not be able to reach their goals or benefit if you are not able to manage your role. The third step we're going to talk about is another one that I know a lot of us teenagers struggle with, and that is time management. So you'll notice on here that the first step in managing your time wisely is avoiding procrastination. I want a raise of hands, either virtual hands or in-person hands. How many of you guys have had an assignment either in school or in 4-H and you put it off and you put it off and then it comes time to your meeting and you realize that you completely forgot to do it? Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of hands raised, and I am completely guilty of that as well. So part of managing your time wisely and being personally accountable is avoiding procrastination. I always like to say work first, play later, because if you're able to get your tasks done effectively, then you won't have to worry about them and you can really just do whatever it is you need to. Some ways that you can manage your time wisely are to make to-do lists and organize your tasks, and you can set priorities. Now, with setting priorities, this is something we're going to focus a lot on today. And up here, I have what we call the Eisenhower Matrix, and this is a tool you can use to set priorities. So the Eisenhower Matrix breaks tasks into 4 different categories. We have urgent tasks, not urgent tasks, important tasks, and not important tasks. Urgent tasks are those that have a deadline that is soon. They have to be accomplished in a timely manner. So those are something that you have a date for and you know that you need to be working towards. Not urgent tasks are something that might be important, but it's kind of a long ways off, so you don't quite have to worry about it yet. Then we have important and not important. I like to use a little analogy with this. So prioritizing is like juggling. And some of the balls you're juggling are made out of plastic, and some of the balls you're juggling are made out of glass. Now, if you drop a plastic ball, it might bounce and it might get a little bent out of shape, but you can ultimately pick that ball back up again, maybe bend it back into shape, and you can keep going. But with a glass ball, if you drop that ball, it is going to shatter everywhere, and it might cut and hurt someone, and there's no way of getting that ball back together. And so with this analogy, glass balls represent important tasks. They're ones that have to be done, and if they don't get done, then there's going to be a pretty big impact. And then the plastic balls are the not important ones where, yeah, it'd be nice to get them done and you want to keep juggling those balls, but if you ultimately let one go, it's not the end of the world. So as you guys can see, depending on where your task falls in the Eisenhower Matrix, you can decide what to do. So if it's an urgent and important task, you want to do it as soon as possible. If it's not urgent, but it's important, you want to do it, but it can be kind of lower on your to-do list. You can schedule a time to do it and not necessarily do it right away. Not important and urgent tasks can be delegated to others, and not important and not urgent tasks can either be eliminated or you can wait until all your other tasks have been completed and do those last. So now we are going to do a little activity. In preparation for this, you guys should have all got a piece of paper that has little squares with different tasks on them, and you should have those cut out into little squares ready for this activity. So if you guys can find that, make sure you have that. We're going to use that for this activity. So what I'm going to want you guys to do is I'm going to pull the Eisenhower Matrix back up on here, and you guys are going to draw that out, and you're going to place the tasks on your paper in the matrix based on whether you think they're important or urgent or where you think they fit. So I'm going to put some of you guys into breakout rooms. Those of you guys that are with a county, you can work with your county members, and those in the breakout rooms can discuss with each other. And then we'll come back and we'll talk about it. So if you guys can find those papers, I'm going to put you guys in breakout rooms, and you guys can get started on that activity. All right, you guys have got about 10 seconds left to kind of wrap up your prioritizing. Oh shoot, it's restarting. All right, can you guys give me a thumbs up, either virtual or in person, if you guys feel like you are done with your prioritizing? Okay. All right, so can I have Sevier County? Can you guys just share 2 or 3 things in each of the sections on your guys' matrix that you made? You guys are muted. All right. Do we have anyone else that would like to? Did I turn my camera off? I turned my camera off. Here we go. All right. Do we have anyone that would like to share Sevier County? If you guys want to share yours, you guys can go. Or if anyone else would like to volunteer, we can have someone take all the weight off Sevier County.
Or they can type it in the chat.
It's true. If you guys want to type it in the chat, if that works better for you guys.
You just summarize something.
Yeah. All right. So I think we're having some technical difficulties, but I appreciate everyone for taking part. So one thing that you guys may have noticed when you guys were putting together your matrices is that oftentimes when you do this activity, it's kind of hard because not everyone agrees where everything should go. Some people think certain things are important and some people don't. And that's something that you need to remember in your guys' tri-teams, that you have to communicate because everybody's going to have different priorities in your team. So I want you guys to keep that in mind and keep this matrix in mind when you guys are working through and making tasks for you guys' tri-teams to be able to help you guys set goals and priorities. So I'm going to move on to the next step of personal accountability, and that is being honest. And this is the most intimidating part of accountability. So if you guys are in a team and you don't understand what your roles are, or you don't understand how to do certain tasks you've been assigned, it's important that you speak up and you're honest and you ask for help. A lot of times we have people who don't want to bother others, so they try and do everything themselves. And while it's good to try and, push yourself, at the end of the day, you need to be honest. You need to be upfront if you did not follow through or you failed to complete some of your assignments. And you have to be willing to admit when you are or are not capable of things. Once again, it's great to push yourself, but if you are incapable of completing a task, you need to be able to be honest and either ask for help or make a suggestion on what else you can do. And with that, those are the 4 steps of personal accountability that we are going to talk to. So with that, I just have one last thing I want to say, and that is follow through. So we are super excited to see so many people who are going to be involved in tri-team trainings, and we can't wait to see what you guys do within your counties. So I just want to tell you to please take everything that we've given you guys today and follow through with that, and make sure that you're following through with the commitments you make and the commitments your team make. So with that, I am going to turn the time over to my fellow ambassador, Jack, to kind of do a little debrief and kind of summarize our event. So thank you guys for your participation.